Missing out. What's up, everybody? It is June
Cheese
24th,
coffee.
Tuesday. Excuse me?
Cheese coffee. Oh, man.
San Francisco treat. All right, everybody. What do we got going? We got, we're covering
Oh, my gosh. It's so dark. What happened?
microplastics and microplastics. Packaging. We're going to get into a couple articles that came out, to one on phys.org, one on CNN that basically parrots the phys.org article. We'll get into some options like, all right, how are we going to replace plastics in packaging, and what does that really mean? It's not that easy,
No.
and it's not always a good solution. And we'll get into a concept that's been shared online of plastic replacement, which was pretty cool. You do a lot of you do labels, right? Like, you're the label guy on the show. You're the only guy that believes stickers are packaging. Are there paper labels, or is it just like plastic? Are they all plastic?
That's the dumbest question. Linerless labels. There's all sorts of different types of labels. If you've ever seen what's the show, Best in Show, when it's like pine nuts, walnuts, macadamia nuts, that's how I feel like. There's also plastic in your nuts.
There are apparently.
You're in trouble.
So, all right. I really didn't care about labels. I just wanted you to touch.
Micro PP, your micro.
All right, so I'm going to share this real quick. This is what's coming from phys.org.
Your source for all.
My source for all label needs. Why is it taking so long to get up here?
Phys.org.
It's where all the fizz. It's like the Riz.
Gosh, we're so stupid.
We're ridiculous. All right, so this is
the
phys.org. The conversation happening there is microplastics and nanoplastics. Nanoplastics are like a billionth of a millimeter, or a billionth of I don't know. It's a ridiculously invisible size.
What is this? Plastic for ants?
So they go through. They reviewed all a bunch of different research that's been done already. They re-reviewed it, looked at food contact, the different areas that you're coming in contact with plastic, whether it's like in plastic bottles, in obviously tea bags and cutting boards, in coatings. Is it single use, repeat use? Then they looked at some other designs and how that plastic is impacted by heat, temperature, heat, duration, different contamination. Think of
yeah, we can all read the slide.
Dude, not everybody. Everybody.
You're like the presenter that's like, let me put up 70 PowerPoint slides and then just read off all the text. Come on, let's make it interesting here. Jeez.
Hey, I've seen a few people. I know a few people that can't read. I don't look down on them. Why are you being a jerk?
I'm not. It's just
I'm sorry to anybody out there that
you're just like, let me show this slide and then read you exactly what the text is on the slide. It's like, oh my God.
Not everybody is watching. People are listening.
I know, but make it more dynamic. We're trying to not put people to sleep. We're already talking about packaging every single day on the internet, and you're just like,
all right. Hey, when you're right, you're right.
From phys.org, they analyzed.
Like, what is that? Here's the thing, man. They looked at a bunch of different research. They went back through, they analyzed it and reviewed it through this lens of like these three different areas. When we look at microplastic, I've never seen it. When we look at nanoplastics, I haven't seen that either. We really, if we were to eliminate plastic in packaging, like how would that change?
Everything. especially for food and beverage packaging.
Well, yeah, that's the stuff that you're eating, right?
Yeah. So if the goal is how do we get rid of plastic in food and beverage packaging,
Yeah.
the answer is s- something that doesn't exist today. I
All right.
mean,
Well,
other than
where is your family coming in contact with food packaging that has plastic on it?
the grocery store.
Okay, like give me an example. Like I buy lettuce, it's fresh. I chop it up on a
Yeah,
plastic cutting board.
but did you buy that lettuce from the farm?
No.
Boom, microplastics. Because
Why?
the lettuce is gonna be wrapped in plastic at some point in time because of shelf life and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, right? So, this is why I'm saying there's really 2 available options, I think, for food and beverage right now.
Mhm.
Number 1 is glass, and number 2 is grow it yourself or get it from the farm. Like, you have to go get it and eat it. So, for example, when I was in India,
Mhm.
they would go get food. The people I was staying with, Samrat and Kamala, Kodavatakanti, got a great last name. Uh, they would go get food
Mhm.
almost daily from the market. There wasn't a lot of plastics used
Yeah.
because they go get food and they bring it back. Um, so there are ways to avoid it. I just don't know how you get rid of plastic in its because even paper is gonna have some sort of a polymer coating on the inside of it because there's so much moisture involved, especially in beverage.
Sure. Yeah, I don't see a lot of paper in beverage. But Chris Olson's asking, how does simply opening or using plastic packaging lead to microplastics in food?
Magic. I don't know I think that that's the narrative though, right? Is like if you're using plastics, there's going to be microplastics. There's gonna be nanoplastics. There's gonna be whatever is the Ant-Man plastics. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
So, I mean, if JQ, if you're listening, it'd be great for you to chime in.
we wanna get
Um,
Marku on as well, right? Like,
yeah,
we've
we
talked
do.
and, I know she's with, Corey right now at some show in Dallas, Texas,
Mm,
where they do everything's bigger in Texas, they don't have microplastics, only macroplastics in Texas.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Um, I mean, the idea is, and I think this is the fear, is that, like, if something is in plastic, especially if it's a hot liquid,
Mhm.
coffee, for example, that
Sure.
you're going to get microplastics, and this is how microplastics are ending up in our bodies,
Okay. So,
right?
just looking at a bag of um, a bag of salad,
Uh-huh.
like bagged salad. It's just sitting there. It's just in the cold. There's nothing necessarily happening. But before it gets into there, right, the process, it's a pretty violent process in terms of like packing out this, um, you know, these leafy vegetables into this sealed tube of plastic. I mean, there's heating going on, there's cutting going on, there's just the typical dust that's happening. Obviously, it's in a clean environment, but I mean, that's an opportunity for microplastics being introduced. Um,
Chris, I'll send you a T-shirt.
shirt is on its way. Uh, but you know, that's the general idea. And then, of course, it's going into the refrigerated section. So the temperature change, not just going into the refrigerated section, but coming back out. The idea here, in according to some of the research, it's that temperature change that's shifting the plastic, making it more rigid, making it more flexible. And during that transition, there are particles that are being released. Um, there was one there was one point in one of these articles that explained that in the human brain, they're finding about a spoonful of plastic. I hate when they make these stupid claims,
Just
right?
a spoonful of your IQ go down, your IQ go down.
No, I hate these things because if you're talking about nanoplastics, which are like I said, like a billionth of like you can't even see these things. How like if you've got a spoonful of plastic in your brain, you should be able to see that amount of plastic.
You think
It'd be like if you dropped it on the floor and you picked it up, and then be like, dog hair and like dust and stuff all over it. Like you would see it.
Do you hate those studies more than my singing?
I actually enjoy your singing.
Oh, thank you. I don't, but it just
It
sort of
puts me to sleep.
it just sort of happens. It just manifests. Um, yeah, so let's go can we go back to your original question? Because you asked me, what are
Yeah,
alternatives for plastic in food and beverage? And that's where I
that's
was
what I
going.
asked. But go ahead.
I well, it was. You said, like, how could we get rid of plastic? And
Yes.
my answer is not currently. I
Mhm.
mean, am I wrong? Like, what else do you think what materials currently exist?
Okay, I live in Phoenix. We've got a ton of farms out here. When we're driving by at the beginning of the season, where they've got the rows all laid out, they've got the first planting happening, and they're just watering everything. You know what they do? They cover those rows
With
tightly
plastic.
with black plastic,
Yep.
right? Because it keeps the moisture in, it keeps the pests out,
And there's
and that's like
microplastics in the water too, right? So,
yeah, and that's the thing is like the tubing is all plastic. Like, yeah, how are you going to get away from it? Even if you're growing your own stuff at home, unless you're catching rainwater in metal pans, like you're running plastic into your food no matter what.
okay, so let's walk down this, theoretical rabbit hole. Walk
Yeah.
down the rabbit hole. So, there was a time when we did not have fossil fuel derived plastics. For the majority of humanity, we have not had it, right? It would be interesting to see, like, what was 2 things. Number 1, the rate of global hunger in the world and the life expectancy of humans pre and post the invention and the advent of plastic-based packaging, specifically for food. Because I'm of the belief that, on the whole, plastic packaging has added a tremendous amount of value, and I don't work in the plastic industry. I'm not paid for by Big Oil, but if Big Oil wants to pay me,
Here's my address.
I I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. You can send your cryptocurrency. Um, but I think on the whole, it's been positive, as part of the global supply chain of, reduction in food waste and things of that nature.
Okay, so let me give you some answers according to Chad,
Oh, thanks,
our
Chad.
researcher. Global hunger pre-plastic,
Yes.
1940s, 1950s. According to historical data from the Food and Agricultural Organization,
Mhm.
two-thirds of the global population was undernourished. By comparison, today, it's dropped about 9%.
It's dropped to 9%.
It has dropped to 9%,
So
not
from
29.
67% to 9%. That's
Yeah.
important to note. Continue. Come
Yeah.
on, Chad.
Hey, Brandon, what's up, buddy? How's it going? Thanks for joining us. If you are joining us, let us know where you're watching from, and let us know if you
Denver in the 51st state so far.
keep if you eat plastic. Now it says like
Mm.
while plastic isn't the only thing that changed, but it did play a pivotal role. It extended shelf life, it reduced food loss, it made food more accessible, and enabled mass production and distribution. Right. So
Yeah.
that's that's a big conversation point. Are
Yeah,
you willing to accept a little bit of plastic in your life to feed people across the planet?
I had, the president on my podcast. He's the president of the World Packaging Organization, and he shared, Pierre, and he shared a story with me
Mhm.
about a, coffee someone who's selling coffee beans in Africa, and they were just taking the beans after they're done, they're putting them in a paper bag, and they were selling them. Or maybe they'd roast them and put them in the paper bag and
Yeah.
sell them, I don't remember. And they were not selling great, and they had a ton of waste. And so as part of this, they were watching this, and they said, "Hey, have you tried these?" It was a plastic derived kind of stand-up pouch. And he put the coffee in there. Coffee was fresher, it lasted longer, his revenue went up, which helped his family. It's like it is really easy to demonize plastic, and I
Mhm.
understand the problems with it. But I hear stories like that, and it's like, well, what's the option for the coffee roaster in Africa if there's a better, cheaper material to sell coffee in to
Yeah.
make more money for your family? Why would you not use that material in the name of microplastic? Like, they don't care about microplastics. Like, it's about having a company and surviving for a lot of people, and then also you scale that up to a lot of companies, and it's like, are you just gonna drop these things? Where are you gonna put milk?
Yeah. Glass. Glass bottle, dude. That was way before
Yeah,
plastic.
no, I know, but what are the problems with glass?
Well, I can go to my grocery store across the street and buy milk in either the plastic bottle for $3 a gallon or $4 a gallon, or I can buy the half gallon in glass at $8, $8
That's
a
the
half a
point.
gallon. But
You
hey, I get to
can't buy
return that bottle. If I return that bottle, I get $2 back. So really, I'm only paying $12 a gallon if it comes in glass.
you can put it in glass. Uh, yeah, it's
Um, Real quick, we got a comment here from
what's up?
Tom. Could we replace plastics by reusing aluminum and glass packaging that has some sort of durable digital screen on it so that the reusable container can reflect the branding and nutritional data? Could we replace plastic by putting a computer?
Tom, that reminds me of Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey when he says, "I think a good idea for bowling would be carpet bowling. It'd be like regular bowling, except with carpet as the lanes." Okay, it's a stupid idea, but by God, we have to try something. Tom, I love you. I feel like well, first of all, aluminum is going to have a is you're not going to get away from plastic or from microplastics with aluminum because
Yep.
you've got to put a coating on the inside of it. So aluminum is out. Glass, we've already. So this is a potential solution that would be insanely expensive, and then the cleaning of the digital screen, I think, would be problematic. On top of you no longer can recycle the glass.
Yeah. And battery and solar power and whatever it takes to power that.
You are a great human being. Everybody go follow Tom.
Hey, shout out to the last line there is La Bamba. Shout out. It's not my first, but not my last.
My last.
All right. Chris coming in with we are doomed since microplastics um, are in water and soil and plastic. Pretty much. You're not going to get away from it. Ian Montgomery, this guy knows what he's talking about. New studies showing more microplastics in glass than plastics due to paint and caps and liner. Chris, you're completely right. We are totally doomed.
And
Thanks, Ian, for ruining glass. Go follow Ian.
what are we gonna do? I just got plastic in my balls all the time. I don't know. I don't know what else.
That's the crazy part, right? Like a big part of what I do is I help brands get away from plastics, and it's not for health because I don't do food, but it's you know it's to reduce EPR, it's to reduce um, just plastic waste, it's to increase their ability to actually recycle and reuse by upping the strength. But it always comes down to how can we get completely away from plastic? And there's coatings that you put on your paper that have plastics in them. It's not, you know, and a lot of times it's clothing or makeup or all these other products that contain plastic. We're only handling the packaging portion of it. There's an entire massive supply chain that goes behind that for products and everything else that are full of plastics.
Mhm.
So again, we just talk about about packaging. That's what we know. But every little bit that you can do definitely can help. I did see this thing, and I kind of love it. I'm not a gamer, but I hear you're a huge
Yeah,
gamer.
the last game I played often was Halo 2. That was pretty fantastic. My gamer tag was A.W. Tozer, the late deceased Christian mystic author. I was killing in the name of Tozer.
Is that the one from Ghostbuster?
I don't think so. Is that-
Not, are you Tozer, the gatekeeper? All right, so this thing.
I don't know that reference. Sorry, 80s movie fans.
All right, so this thing's pretty cool. This is on Yanko Design. This is a designer. This is just a concept 3D render. It does look like they made these controllers out of like bubblegum, but it looks pretty amazing. The idea here being that instead of molded fiber or plastic, using a coconut husk, a molded coconut husk, these materials are available. I'm not going to read anything to you, Adam. But yeah, like a molded fiber.
No, please just read the whole article out loud for all of the listeners.
No, but this is pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep. You got a molded fiber top. It's crafted to fit around the product. You've got like a debossed branding print for the controls, and then you've got this like it looks like hair, but it's coconut husk. It is just a rendering, so it could be anything.
That's where my hair went.
But this is kind of cool. This is this is pretty interesting, pretty innovative. Molded fiber. This is available. The coconut husk. There's a ton of material out there that's using, landscaping waste. Like here in Phoenix, we've got a company that's doing paper out of palm frond waste because people get their palm trees trimmed twice a year. I just had mine done. It's like insane. And all that waste they recycle it into a paper, which is pretty, this looks beautiful. It looks amazing. I don't see this going into a box and actually protecting the product though, if I'm going to be completely honest. But, I think there's a lot of options out there. I think there's a lot of cool materials out there. It's just a matter of finding the right application and the right company. But if we look at this, you've got a molded fiber lid, you've got this corn husk tray, and you got a plastic product.
True.
So again, it goes back to that point of, you can eliminate plastic in the packaging, but how much plastic are you actually dealing with?
Can you eliminate plastic in your clothing? Because that's where most microplastics come from, are the clothes that we're wearing. So really, I think what you're saying is if we're all just like nudist farmers.
Can I be honest with you? I grew up.
I know.
With nudists.
I know.
That,
Maybe then, maybe if we all just embraced, you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm just kidding. This show has turned into an OnlyFans episode. Hey, can I talk about these boxes behind me? Because this was really cool.
I can't see any of them.
Really? You can't see those? That's weird.
Oh, I can see it now. Your big head blocks everything.
I know. Can I talk about these boxes that are right behind me?
Okay. Yeah, what do you got going back there?
So I was at I got to see this new it's basically a right size box printed on demand.
Mm-hmm.
So we grabbed the Packaging Today logo and threw it in there. And what happens is it can make a different. Whoa, I left. There we no.
Trying to find you. Nope. Trying to find you. What happened?
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Over it.
So it can cut a different size RSC and print. Every box size and print can be different, and they're doing 550 per minute.
What?
Yes, it was
per minute.
Per hour. They're doing 550.
Like, what are you talking? I can't even process that.
No, I think it's 550 per hour. Minute would be insane. But the crazy thing about it was, like, I started thinking, like, now somebody's packaging, especially for e-commerce and shipping.
Hang on.
What?
Explain that one more time. So the box is being cut and printed, but it's not just one size and it's not just one artwork. So if I've got 47 different SKUs, and they
Yep.
can be shipping and like compiling a variety of them into one box. It's making the box for that particular thing, and it's probably reducing the amount of air space inside of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it's right sizing the box. I'm going to be making some pretty killer content here in the next couple weeks, but like it right sizes the box and prints using inkjet digital, the sweet like digital print engine using inkjet. It runs through the printer, so it can be a different size box and a different print on every box.
But who would buy this?
So imagine if you're like a 3PL
Yeah.
or you're a retailer and you want to do co-branding. If you wanted to personalize every delivery, you could.
So like when I get like an Amazon box and it's got whatever the latest Prime movie printed on the outside of it.
You could do that. You could do you could sell advertising space like a NASCAR. You know, so you could just print somebody's ad like it's its own billboard now. If you wanted to protect, if it was a really expensive thing, you didn't want porch pirates, you could make it just look horrible and non-desirable on the outside.
You could like brand it with like enema.
You could put like you could put our Packaging Today logo on it, and people be like, I don't want that. Really? Every day they're talking about packaging? I don't want that. But it's really on the inside of it is like a bunch of beautiful ornate glass bottles.
Can you print the inside of them too?
Nope, just the outside.
Why does it care? Can you print the outside? Can you print the outside and then fold it? So that it comes on the inside?
No, because it's a single pass print only on one side, and then it makes it in line. So it basically takes a fan folded sheet of board, prints the sheet of board, and then it's got these sweet robots that do that kind of angle themselves to do the die cut correctly.
Yeah.
And it spins it, folds it, glues it, and sends it down. It was so cool to see.
That's right. And then hey, just throwing Stephanie's comment up here, talking about the netted bags being the worst. Going back to plastic, like yeah, those do suck. Like when you get like those, like the cuties or little oranges or whatever, and you tear that thing open and just get like that crappy dust everywhere. That definitely does suck. No, this is pretty cool, man. And what's this company making these boxes?
I will disclose that in a short while. We will promote what they're doing. So
we will. Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we will, but I will.
All right.
It was a really, really cool application.
How do they close? How do you seal those boxes?
With tape,
plastic,
or paper.
Mm-hmm.
You can do paper tape, reinforced paper tape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? You know those things?
I do. No, man, that's pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff happening out there. I did see an article come through on poly bags and poly mailers, on the issue that they have at recycling centers that do recycle flexible plastics, with that stuff melting, with that stuff stretching, and just the filth that it makes at the actual recycling center, to the point where they don't want to accept those anymore. Even when you're collecting them in bulk and you're collecting them at the grocery store, just because of how difficult it is and the amount of work it actually takes to do that, and how dangerous that stuff becomes to the people that are working there, because they've got to get into the equipment in order to process this stuff.
Yeah.
So moving away from poly bags into shipping mailer, corrugated mailer, that stuff can definitely help, but it does increase your cost. And it goes back to like,
unless you're selling advertising, then maybe you're making money on the box.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
All right, guys. Hey, join us tomorrow.
I'm just saying.
Well, actually, join us tomorrow. We're going to do, can we solve it? So ask us questions tomorrow. If we can't solve it, you got a shirt. We solve it. First shirt going out today to Chris Olson.
I'm going to ship it in these boxes.
Yeah, drop some stuff in those boxes. We'll ship it. See if it makes it the exact size of the shirt. We'll see if will it come out in like the shape of a shirt?
No.
Flat.
don't
See you
think so.
guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Kim.